election in Nigeria. Okay. Now, about spending in elections and the national crisis we have, the last time I read about this crisis, it had a global dimension. There are problems in Kenya, this election year. There are problems in Malawi, this election year. There are problems in Tanzania, this election year. Possibly, I mean, all these countries, fuel is going up. All these countries. The WFO said that the price of food... Yes, the price of food is highest now. Is that because the entire world has been having expensive elections? I don't think so. It's a global crisis. The fuel crisis. It's global. Now, useless going to college. And our court system has one of the best in the entire world. And there are many judgments under the 95 constitutions that have become precedents in the Commonwealth. Like, for example, Olum versus Atsumobile versus Government of Uganda. Or Tinyefuza versus Government of Uganda. These are legal precedents. Or even Bessie versus Government of Uganda. The major beneficiary, one of the major beneficiaries of our system is on the Chakwa case, or the prison case when his prison case was thrown out on technicalities by the Constitutional Court. He is admitted. So I mean, he's really the worst type of hypocrite because he's a major beneficiary. I've given this example. A person like me, I've never gone to court. I've never because I'm a single person. But he has been put and he has been a major beneficiary. Right.
Yeah, but I will give you just information to you, Tanya. Why we felt it was useless to go to court is that unless they change the substantial effect of the stealing or the malpractices, that's why they go to nullify. Unless that was changed, it was useless. Because any one time they would always use that.
Okay. Can we talk about the economy, Honorable Wafula? You mentioned earlier that he's just raised the aspect. He said, it's a global
Yeah, it is true that they have issues in the world, the global economy, the capitalist system. Yes, the capitalist system, there's a crisis, yes, but the degree is different. Others are in a mess, like Uganda right now is bankrupt, more or less. It's in a mess. Soon they're not going to pay taxes, salaries, because of the things that the government has done the last 6 months. Go on. That is recorded because this country, which had $3 billion as the only money they had kept for 26 years, has accumulated. If you pick that money, a third of it, almost $1 billion.
You have less than $2 billion, right?
Yeah, you have 1.7. You have almost $1 billion. Go and buy military jets. 800 million, but understand they bought them at about 300 million. So the other 500 is also still missing, which that's it in Parliament. You pick money, 1 trillion, to go and buy votes. You change the currency at the time just before election, so that you can have access money. One for banning, you take it to northern Uganda and buy votes. You are putting money in the economy without any production, without any proper services you are buying for. You are putting the money in the economy to buy a vote, a piece of paper. That is going to cause a problem. Then you cause instability, so that the so-called investors begin to fear because there's political instability, there's capital flight. They begin transferring the money, and who makes most of the profits here? The big communication companies, the telephone companies, the banks make big profits, the insurance companies, the oil companies, the big contractors, the RCCs of this world. This is where most of the money, those who are making a lot of money. Then you have almost 40,000 incuba chairs from India and China. They are all remitting money. Now, when you have instability, and at the time when exports are falling, yes, there's no doubt about that. The fish has reduced by almost a quarter. Some factories are closing. The coffee has reduced. The tea has reduced.
Yes.
So the export earnings is less.
Yes.
While at the same time, imports are increasing. For goodness sake, you are going to have a problem with your economy if such is the situation of affairs. If that's the situation of affairs, and then when you don't put money in production, most of the money is in public administration. Most of the money is for consumption. Agriculture, yes. 2010, they had 4.9% of the GDP they put in the budget, they put in agriculture.
Now
they are put 4%. But they signed the protocols, international protocols, there should be at least 10%. They don't.
Okay. Honorable Minister, sir, the crisis you are articulating here is big enough of not an issue. Because our economy, as per the reading of the IMF and World Bank, as per the reading in the budget, grew by 8%, the highest in the region. It's a buoyant economy. No wonder the opposition performed dismally in the polls, because they are doomsday prophets. For sure there's a crisis. But you can't blame the dollar crisis to Museveni. It doesn't need dollars. You can't blame the price of oil on Museveni. You don't like it. Look, Museveni has not attacked Libya. Museveni has not set out the Somali pirates to hijack the super oil tankers in the Red Sea. It's the opposite. In fact, Museveni is playing that he will attempting to resolve the religious crisis by being one of the eminent 5 people the AU has chosen to mediate in the Libya crisis. Because, and he is articulating for a political solution. Jingo is the kind of approach of trying to might is right, bombarding Libya into the Stone Age. Or Uganda is one of the only countries, this is a fact, I mean you can verify it. Uganda is one of the only countries in Mogadishu attempting to stop the piracy that is causing the crisis we are experiencing now. The trade imbalance, I mean the trade has gone up because of the pirates hijacking ships. Now, about our exports not going down, that's again a big reason. Last year alone, Uganda's exports to South Sudan, which is growing market, was $1 billion.
It was, I think, about 185, $80 million. So that's about $1 billion.
Well, but it's about $1 billion.
It was the highest, though.
Yeah, it's about $1 billion. So it's about $1 billion. I mean, including informal something that a bank of Uganda computer. And then, I mean, and so forth. I mean, so really, things are really, well, there's a crisis for sure, but Uganda is not Greece. I mean, look, in Greece, that is, I think Mr. Ogutu was confusing Greece with Uganda. Because it's in Greece that they can't pay tax. I mean, they can't pay tax. It's in Greece that Greece is creating a euro crisis.
Edmond, let me just give some information to Mr. Nyago.
Yes,
Mr. Nyago,
look, Uganda
we have heard this story, this litany, this song, that the economy has been growing by 8%, is the second fastest growing economy in the world.
In the region.
Even the world, even. Let me say, yes, as long as you are working on pieces of paper, that is for granted. And how does the economy grow? Whose economy is growing? Is it the economy of the peasants or the economy of a few people who are in the banking industry, who are in the communication industry, who are building houses in Kampala? The president has been proud saying Kampala is growing large. Who is building houses in Kampala? Are they building houses in the villages? The poverty is increasing in the villages. In my own village in Bujiri, people can't afford meat in a month, in 3 months, in 4 months. They can't afford a piece of fish in 3 months, in 6 months, and you are saying the economy is growing? Okay. What? No, this whole thing is very, very annoying. The economy is growing for a few people who have most of the money. You find one person here, an investor, and they have said so. There are about 2% of people who have almost 60% of the money in this town. And you can say the economy is growing.
Okay. Yes. I would like us to talk about the right to bail. Very, very briefly.
Just briefly.
And you say the export to Sudan is growing. Sudan, what we sell to Sudan?
Yes, it's a fact.
Re-exports from China.
This is a statistical fact. Yes. That the reduction in poverty in Uganda, from the poverty line, from the rate being from 56 to the current 26%, is the highest ever recorded in the world. And this is a statistic not recorded by the NRM economic justice.
You know it, right?
But it's a statistic recorded by the Bretton Woods, the IMF and World Bank institutions.
Yeah.
Unless you with the conspiracy theory of Mr. Ogutu. Again, Mr. Museveni is manipulating.
Do you know?
So when you talk about, well, I don't know about his group, but most villages I've been to and I've been around in this country, especially during the years, they're doing well compared to...
Very briefly, I would like us to talk about the right to
in Edmond,
Yes.
we had a teacher in this college teaching us economics called, that man was a Scotsman. He told us that this thing of GDP and per capita income is very, very deceptive. He said, in Kuwait had just discovered oil, that was in the 70s, and he said that 90% of the people in Kuwait share 10% of the wealth, and 10% of the people of Kuwait share 90% of the wealth. So that is what this thing of GDP and growth and the economy, Uganda being rich and growing, the economy growing. That's what it is. You get money of Mr. Sudi and a sweeper in the capital in the radio one, and get a president who plays cards in the village and add their money and divide by the number of people. Then you say they all have money. Look at UPE. How much money does Uganda government even give it even our own children in a year? 6,000 shillings. You give 6,000 shillings to kids for a year, and you think that that's even less than how many dollars are those a year? You are giving kids to maintain them at school. What poverty is that? What levels are that?
Let's talk about the right to bail. It's unfortunate we can't get to the depth of this. Let's talk about the right to bail. Honarable Wafula, let's get to the conclusion of this. The president has said if you people in parliament don't want to give it to him, you take it to a referendum. What's your take on that?
No. First of all, the mechanism of going to a referendum is very well elaborated in the Constitution. I didn't carry the Constitution here. But he has to try all avenues. The president cannot just wake up from his bed in Wakura or Kisos or in Debe and he says, I'm going to the referendum. No, it's not that easy. It is provided. You must exhaust various avenues before you can eventually end up in the referendum. In any case, if Parliament refuses to a law, how will you pass them to go to the referendum? Because the Parliament must approve.
Let's hear from
and that's why the president is now taking parliamentarians to his home to bribe them, to cajole them, to threaten them, so that they can toe his line.
Before we hear from the listeners, Mr. Nyago.
Now, regarding the right to bail, I do agree with Mr. Ogutu, but I mean, you don't just go for it. And what does that show? It shows you democracy. It shows you that we have got, we have got an institutional framework, we have got laws, we have got rules that we follow. That's right, Mr. Ogutu. Don't just wake up and do things. Like somebody thought, walk down the inflation. I wish he had gone to Tesla College and that gentleman who thought to walk down the inflation, and that Scottish man put in one or two things. Now, you don't just do things that shows you democracy in this country. And we see that there are major extra. But certainly, I'm certain that this law will go through in Parliament because the NRM caucus that commands more than 75%
has voted
in Parliament has voted it because it has the merit.
Let's hear from the listener. This is Spectrum. You can call in now. 0414-348-111, 0312-390, 0791-909909. Spectrum, hello. Good evening, your name?
Say that coffee has reduced, cotton has reduced, tea, tobacco, coke. And I want to tell him that I'll talk with authorities. Coffee production increased by 4%. Coffee exports in dollar terms increased by 41%.
That's true.
Cotton production increased by more than 100%, from 70,300 bales to 147,000 bales. Value much higher. Coke production increased by more than 2,000 tons. So where is he getting these facts from? We don't like people who come to the radio to tell us lies. Let's be factual. For us, we don't mind as public servants, but I don't want to hear somebody standing there. Tea production increased substantially. So where is he getting these figures from?
Sam, thank you for that. Spectrum, hello.
Hello?
Yes, your name?
I think the shuttle minister, I don't know. The issue is that I want this shuttle minister to get facts here and say Uganda is doing badly in the region. So as facts from Kenya, Tanzania, Rwanda. But this is business of complaining. You can complain, but you cannot complain until things have come. If you are saying 7 meeting NRM is wrong, cite an article in the constitution or any law in Uganda that he has violated. I even saw my friend that Ogutu complaining that Oranya is also in the NRM. And Oranya was elected on NRM ticket. It is like if a Catholic and you go to the Catholic meeting, there is nothing. If it is like Kenya where the speaker and the deputy speaker probably would not come from parliament, then that is okay. But the law is clear. But this business of just frying, you can also now, the good thing, take all the FCC you are praising before. You cannot complain.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Spectrum, hello.
Hello.
Yes, your name?
Good evening.
Good evening.
My name is David Chama.
Chama, yes.
Yeah, I really want to not agree with Kintu Nyago by saying that we can blame the corruption of the economy on Museveni. Here is a man who is long time ruling for Uganda, but he has not any facility for the fuels because these are the problems facing the country. It has been the fuel results for these times of 60 years. Has we made production people, people produce dollars, have exports, and have the dollar reduced by getting foreign exchange? Has he really done anything to cover the randomly with the people, with all the people who are getting against him? Whereas the factory is the business, growing businesses, it's taking successful movies, strikes are everywhere, but youth are everywhere, the doctors are strike, the workers, the teachers.
All right. Spectrum, hello.
Hello.
Your name?
My name is Mark.
Mark, you have to switch off your radio, please.
Yeah, and I'm calling from Kampala. I do agree with the person who said that it's good to analyze these economic issues, the figures, and understanding them broadly. And I've just been looking at the ITC figures. ITC is the International Trade Center, and Uganda's coffee export actually reduced by 31%. And the facts are clear. The coffee waste disease actually decimated most of the coffee gardens and the unprecedented drought. So, I don't want to blame the president, I don't want to blame the opposition and others, but I think they should increase resources into Alan Seed, second work and put more resources in coffee-specific extension and other sectors of the economy and other agricultural enterprises. We need, I think, strategic, specific extension services and more investment of resources into productivity. So the problem, per se, is innate, it is indigenous. Our lack of capacity to increase our production levels, invest at all nodes of the value chain, and increase our export. Thank you.
Mr. Nyago.
Hello.
Okay, our final caller, Spectrum. Go on.
Hello.
Yes, your name?
This is Paul.
Paul, go ahead.
Mr. President, we should learn how to discuss issues which is affecting Ugandans instead of discussing diversity whenever it's hosted friendship.
Well, okay, Mr. Nyago, let's begin.
Well, events and issues are interrelated. Now, the issue of planning for the future, the NRM manifesto has mentioned that in these coming 5 years, there will be irrigation, funding of irrigation, whereby you find that these natural calamities, like say drought, will be mitigated because Uganda is a populous country. We have water, we have rivers and so on. And I mean, by the way, the manifesto was made before the drought. It's not as if it's like some of these parties has this program in the street of mimicking what's occurring elsewhere.
Unacceptable.
No, please.
Don't say that because you don't think that people there are no intellectuals in other parties apart from NRM. That is not very fair. Don't say that.
So now you find that really okay. The irrigation is part of the situation, and also power because jobs for the people. Power is going to increase from 600 megawatts to about 3,800 megawatts within the next 5 years. And those are some of the things that are going to those are some of the things that are going to change, transform the society. But also, those are some of that's part of the vision that explains the 20% answer, and not the cynicism that some people seem to be articulating all the time.
Thank you very much. You see, Mr. Sam, wherever you are, who your name is, and whether you are one of the people who are given money to call in the studios to just run down the people who talk sense, or you just don't know. But the exports have been going down. It's good that you have been given 31% on the coffee. I was talking because I had this in the budget. I have budget documents. I'm reading. Fish has gone, export has gone down by 50%. It's a fact. The Minister of Madam Nakabirwa has been saying the fish production has gone down. They have closed factories. 7 factories have been closed. So this somewhere does it stay? What I'm talking, I know about. Imports in this country are $4 billion. Exports are about $2 billion.
15% of GDP.
Yes, so it is almost a half. Mr. Sam should know that. You should read. Don't just call in the radio and talk. We know what we are talking about. There's a crisis. You might, if you are getting salary from the Republic of Uganda, prepare. One of the times you are not going to pay fees for your children. That's for I'm doing that because I can see it coming. So, we are complaining. We are not complaining. We are complaining and giving reasons. We are complaining and giving solutions. He's saying we should not complain about the prison taking people to set out. For goodness sake, you are an NRM. It is okay, but don't abuse the power because you are a president. Don't abuse that office and spend public funds without due diligence, without using the law. This is what we are talking about. And we know we can't sue the president. We cannot sue him because he's immune. But crime never rots. Crime doesn't rot. That's why Mubarak is on bed, tied with a chain on a bed, sick bed. Okay. Crime never rots. So he says Mr. Olanya, Honorable Olanya is an NRM. We know Honorable Olanya is an NRM. He was elected an NRM. But we said we elected him to be our speaker. And the speaker should be non-partisan, because if you go to a chairman who is partisan, can you feel comfortable? If you go to a match and the referee is from the other team, can you feel comfortable? These are the issues we are raising.
Well, you don't seem to be happy about power, right? From 600 million.
No, power there's no, okay, you see, we were told in 2006 that by 44 months, the $1 would have no power problem in Uganda. The president, during the campaign, he said so, and even soon after the election. Do we have power from Jagali? We not. No. And to raise power from the current 200 megawatts to 2,000, 3,000 in 5 years.
Okay,
it's a dream. It's an intention. A thing can never happen in this 5 years. Never.
It's going to happen, and part of the problem has been that the opposition is so frustrated with Jagali. Now, on the issue...
That's a lie.
No, it's
there
a
was
fact.
no opposition.
And
Parliament had no opposition.
And you do find that the economy is buoyant, and many sectors have been growing. Say milk production, for example. Milk production or beef production, or even many other things. So really, the economy is growing, and yes, Uganda and capital inflow is on the increase.
Well, thank you very much indeed to our guest, Honarable Wafula Ogutu. One of my former journalists. Right now he's Shadow Minister for Information and National Guidance, also Member of Parliament for Police. So thank you for coming to the council. Mr. Kintu Nyago, Deputy Principal Private Secretary. Thank you for coming. Thank you for tuning in, and all of you for having host Edmond. Otherwise, you can hear me right now.
Thank you.
Let's talk about the home of your dreams and how you plan to finance it. Let's discuss money, location, and time frames, and whether you plan to build it or purchase it or renovate it. Let's make it possible for you to get started now so that you get into your own home sooner rather than later. Let's enable you to borrow against your house so that you expand and meet all your financial needs. Let's offer you a Stanbic Bank home loan. To find out if you qualify for a home loan, ask at any Stanbic Bank branch today.
Stanbic Bank, moving forward.
Just like an uncut diamond is brought to life by unmatched skill and dedication, only our brewmaster holds the secrets to crafting a crystal malt lager. Under the exacting international